Hello and welcome to the 15th annual LD Micro main event. I'm here with John Stoeckinger, President and CEO of Learn EV, a soon-to-be public company. John, would you tell our viewers a little bit more about the company?
Learn EV is a company where we go in and train the technicians to learn the electric vehicle side. We found a need with this about 2 years ago when the EV vehicles began to enter our space. We're on the combustible engine side. We're training technicians today. We train over 4,000 technicians a year. But with all the EV vehicles that are coming into our space now, there's not a platform now to train those technicians, especially when you have close to 1.5 million technicians and less than 10% are trained for the electrical side of that. So we saw a need with that.
Interesting. What's the enrollment like?
Right now in developing our module, we developed a module for the EV. We've test driven it and we've beta tested it into 3 different markets, been very successful. We thought it was going to take some time to sell it out. We sold it out very quickly. So we knew right there was going to be a need. We immediately went in and partnered with a cataloging tutorial company to do things on the Halo lens so we can train virtually, have Halo lens sent to the shops themselves. We can train with our trainers directly to the technician. In addition to that, we can integrate our tooling, which is the multimeter and O-scope, into our Halo lens and train from a distance. And that's something that's happening today. So what that means is there's a shortage of technicians today. You can't get them to train today because of the shortage. So now we can train on-site virtually.
And what's the recruitment process like for getting those technicians?
We go through a number. One, we have our own network. We have 450 plus locations today. Plus, we're partnered with a couple of automotive associations that we're very close with. So as far as the integration of our customer base, we're there. At this point, it's just a matter of putting the modules together and getting them out to the market.
All right. And how did you get involved with the company? What's your background?
I've been in the industry for 30 plus years, started with Volvo Truck, actually went through my MBA in Gothenburg, Sweden with Volvo, then went into the aftermarket. So very familiar with the space on both the OE and the aftermarket side.
Excellent. And obviously, this is a very popular space, EV nowadays. What are your biggest strengths in the company and what differentiates you from others in the space?
The biggest strengths we have is we have strong technical background, and we see not from a theoretical side, but from an application side. And that's the big difference. The OEs are out there developing the equipment, which is great. But from the application side, we see what the real live issues are with the equipment that comes through, and we think we can adapt it to that pretty quickly.
Interesting. It's obviously a very tumultuous time, especially for companies looking to go public the last 2.5 years, COVID, recession, inflation. How's all that impacted the business?
It's impacted a little bit. Quite frankly, we had our best years during COVID because at the end of the day, you had to keep equipment moving. Trucks had to keep moving. We still had to deliver. So we didn't take advantage of it. We just saw the opportunity presented itself at that point. In addition to that, we couldn't find technicians, which is one of the reasons that we had to do some of our own virtual training. So we kept things going and kept things afloat. It's just in the last 2 years we've seen the EV space grow. Just kind of put in perspective, there's 2.5 million trucks in the medium light duty to be built this year. Close to 7% of those will be EV. In 2 years, it'll be 15%.
Wow.
And no one's trained those technicians.
Wow, that's amazing. And what are the current trends that you're seeing within the space that allow you to shift and meet that demand?
The first thing is we're still in combustible engine. It means that you got the gas, the diesel engine. And one of the things that we wanted to do is have that type of training where we continue to train on combustible, but transition over to the EV side. So in our HoloLens piece that we've developed, the technician through the virtual piece can actually pull an engine out, the combustible engine out, pull in the EV engine, and see both at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And that's a critical piece because now we can train on both sides under one lens.
That's fantastic. And how would you summarize the company's bottom line?
Right now, on our side on the combustion, we're strong with a strong balance sheet. We've kind of looked at the learning EV piece as a new product, but now we're going to make it into its own separate entity. And so right now we're in its very start, and we're funding the first part of it right now, but we have a strong balance sheet.
That's great. Well, I know we all look forward to following the story. Is there anything in closing you'd like to tell the audience?
Feel free to reach out to us. We have the information. You can get a hold of us on the Learn EV on our website, which is learnev.com.
Excellent. Again, John Stoeckinger, President and CEO of Learn EV. Thank you so much for coming by, John.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.